Senate Judiciary Chairman Dick Durbin is asking the Department of Justice to investigate missing text messages from the Secret Service surrounding the January 6th attack on the Capitol. Agents failed to back up their phones ahead of a scheduled data migration that wiped their devices. So for more on this continuing investigation, we want to bring in congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, you are in Washington. You've been following the story since it broke. It's left a lot of us, sort of scratching our heads because it seems like basic stuff. You work for the Secret Service. You back up all your electronics. But what is the status of Department of Justice investigation into these missing text messages?
Hey, Anne-Marie, we know it's been requested, as you mentioned, by the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee, Senator Durbin of Illinois, who obviously has great weight on issues involving the Justice Department because his committee has oversight over the U.S. Justice Department. But as is the case in the past, the Justice Department consistently does not confirm when it opens investigations. When it's undertaking investigations, it only confirms once it closes an investigation, if that investigation has yielded something, has yielded findings or a possible criminal or civil referral. So we're in the dark about the status of a Justice Department investigation, but it's quite clear why one is being sought. Senator Durbin has mentioned it. Any number of other stakeholders have mentioned they want an outside party, somebody outside the Department of Homeland Security, to figure out how this could happen, how an agency that is expert at data forensics could lose potentially pivotal pieces of data from a unique and horrific day in American history. So the Justice Department's being sought. It'll be a while till we're sure if they're looking or what they found.
It's not like something like this hasn't happened to all of us, where we've gotten a software update and we end up losing data. But it's just that it's the Secret Service. And you got to wonder, was this just negligence? Was this intentional? Do we have any sort of insight into whether or not Secret Service employees were told to back up their phones and didn't, or just how we got here?
Well, you put your finger on the fundamental issue here. Was this intentional or was this negligence? January 6th committee member Jamie Raskin of Maryland told reporters late last week that he has concerns that so much data from those days at that agency has gone missing at once. He says it doesn't seem to be a technological issue when so many different stakeholders lose data at the same time. So he's raised the question provocatively and rhetorically, but that really is the fundamental issue that they'll be investigating here. How could data go missing, again, from an agency which has a track record over generations of investigating financial fraud, data issues, doing forensics work? That really is the spirit of this investigation right now. How could this possibly happen?
So sentencing is set to happen today for the first Capitol riot defendant convicted at trial. What can we expect?
This is the biggest court hearing, sentencing hearing so far, full stop, in the U.S. Capitol riot investigation and prosecution. Guy Reffitt of Texas, according to the prosecutors, had a gun on his waist as he was confronting police January 6th. His own son turned him in to authorities. Most importantly, Anne-Marie, he was the first January 6th defendant convicted at trial by a jury. This is the first time the prosecutors have gone to a judge to seek a criminal sentence for somebody who went to trial, faced jurors, and had a weapon on him. They're seeking 15 years in prison. That would, by orders of magnitude, be the longest criminal sentence handed down so far in a January 6th case. If the judge follows that recommendation, it lays down quite a marker for the hundreds of other defendants who've yet to face trial or face sentencing. There are higher-level defendants than Guy Reffitt. There are people accused of seditious conspiracy, of plotting and planning to attack the government before January 6th. This is a real canary in the coal mine moving forward in what is, Anne-Marie, still the largest criminal prosecution in American history.
It's good to remind us of that. Listen, before I let you go, I got to ask you about it. This is actually another pretty big story. Nancy Pelosi, as you know, is leading a contingent visiting several countries in Asia. There's been a lot of talk about whether or not she was going to go to Taiwan. I presume that if she is, it would be something that's already planned, because you don't just sort of stop by there. But we know that China does not like the idea, has used some very strong language. What has the response been to the potential of her going there on Capitol Hill?
Yeah, well, first of all, Speaker Pelosi has been insistent she's not going to disclose her travel plans out of security protocols. Of course, going to Taiwan is a sensitive time in a sensitive place. There are any number of security concerns there, but just boilerplate regular travel by congressional leaders also is somewhat secretive. It's kept somewhat cryptic because of security concerns and safety threats. There is concern about the statement, the political statement this makes. There are concerns about the diplomatic statement this makes. But look for Taiwanese media. See if they are ahead of the reporting on this, because they're on the ground and they're not bound by the speaker's security concerns.
All right, I will do that. I got to brush up on my Taiwanese, which is actually non-existent. But Scott, thank you very much.